All right. This is the AeroPress. This particular AeroPress was the very first or one of the very early generations of AeroPresses that was released back in 2005. And they replaced it. It was clear. So it was really nice and cool. But evidently these have BPAs and could contribute to cancer. So they decided to change the materials. And then over the years, they went to different colors. There's a blue one in between here, and then a smoked. And then they came out with this newer version. This is kind of the current model of AeroPress. Too bad it doesn't focus. Silly camera. And then they came out with this. This is the AeroPress Mini. Maybe I don't know what it's called anymore. The baby AeroPress. So it's much smaller and comes with its own little cup. So it's a lot smaller than its counterpart in capacity. However, it is the same in filter size. So how y'all doing today? I'm Jay. Welcome to the Coffee Q&A, where we continue on with the AeroPress XL. So this AeroPress XL has been a journey. So I first saw the XL at the Coffee Expo in Portland back in April. And I thought, oh, that'd be cool. Get a bigger, I think it's double the size. So you can have double the capacity, which I guess, for a lot of people, there's a need for that. But for me, really, this one is plenty. However, they finally came out with it, and it's $79.95. But about a week or two after they released it, they decided, oh, we're going to drop the price to $69.95, and we're going to include the brew cup. So there's evidently some kind of brew cup that comes along with it that will, that comes with it. And so they lowered the price by $10, and I was like, oh, that's great. So my initial plan was to go buy one and do a video here on the channel, and I was going to run out to the REI that's not too far from here. I looked up on rei.com and they had it in stock, but it was at $79.95 instead of the newly reduced MSRP of $69.95. And honestly, I just didn't want to go through the hassle, having to explain to the REI guys and try to get them to price match and all that. So I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it directly from AeroPress.com, and it'll be here in a couple days, and perfect, no problem. That was on July 17th. So I placed the order and got a confirmation on July 18th that said, all right, we're processing your order and it's coming to you right away. I received this box yesterday on September 5th. And this whole process of getting this XL has been quite a long journey. So first of all, they took the order, they shipped it out. And I don't know who they're using. They're using some kind of fulfillment service and delivery service that said they delivered, but I'm here and nobody came. And I was like, there's nobody that came by. So we tried it. So that took a while. It takes a while to get communication going back and forth. They sent out another one via USPS, the postal service, who for some reason decided they were having difficulty understanding if we existed here, despite the fact that I know my carrier personally. However, I talked to one of the carriers that happened to come by when I was like, where's Nur? And he's like, oh, he's been ill. He's been out for the last couple of weeks. And I said, well, that doesn't help. We're back and forth. Package gets shipped back to the shipping center. We talk again. They finally shipped it out, and it finally arrived a month and a half later. But I must say, the guys, when we finally were in contact with the people at AeroPress, Charlene and John, they were very responsive. It just took a little while to get back and forth, but they were very helpful, and they kept going until they got here. And this actually arrived by United States Postal Service. So I don't know what happened with my post office and the carriers during the first attempt, but finally we have it. And so we're going to open it up and see exactly what's in the box. Oops, it's not like that. All right, so here it is. Here's our box. And let us zoom down a little bit more onto it. Let's open it up and find out what we have inside the box. All right, so there it is. A little bit of paper packaging. Nice. Now, I was actually at REI the other day, and I saw the box, and I was like, oh, I saw them that they had them. I was like, oh, I should just buy one now and just cancel the other one. But I was like, okay, we got it all going. I'm not going to bother. But so here it is. Find your inner brew. So they have updated the packaging over the years, which is nice. A little bit nicer. Now, in case you might not have heard, so this company was started in 2005, or the AeroPress was invented or released in 2005 by Alan Adler and the Aerobee Corporation. Another venture capitalist group or some big money group bought out the AeroPress from Alan. He's still involved in some way, but now it's a whole bigger corporation with a CEO and all this, all this infrastructure and shipping that had been done out of California from their Menlo Park offices now is being fulfilled out of New Jersey, which is supposedly closer, so it should make it easier. However, I don't know. There's a little bit more sticking. Like Spro's had an account with Aerobee for many, many years, to buy wholesale. I didn't want to buy this wholesale because you have to buy a case, and I only wanted one. So here we are. This is it. Find your inner brew. Four brew styles: American espresso, latte, cold brew. They still say that it's espresso. I guess you can because it's a pressurized brew. What makes AeroPress coffee taste so uniquely delicious? 3-in-1 brewing, fast immersion, air pressure, and then so it's just bigger. It's a bigger brew. Add coffee and water, stir the brew, press in coffee into carafe. There's really not much. There's not much difference other than the size. So let's. So I did get this finally for $70, $69.95, and that was really to save $10. It took me a month and a half, and a lot of that was like irritation and frustration. Was it worth it? No, I probably should have just gone and bought it at. Had I known, I would have just gone to REI and tried to convince them to sell it to me for the new MSRP. All right, so let's cut that open. I have to say, while it's strange, I do think that this, hexagon box is an interesting design feat. All right, so as you can see here, we've got our filters. So these filters are larger than the standard AeroPress filters. They give you, not so much like in the standard AeroPress. Let me grab that for a moment. If I can find it. Anyway, in the standard AeroPress, they actually ship the AeroPress to you with 300 filters. And this is definitely nowhere near 300. Maybe this is 100, maybe this is 150. That's a little bit disappointing, especially since they've always shipped with quite a lot. I don't recall how many they shipped the mini with. But a little bit disappointing there. All right, so we've got our bigger filter basket holder. So as you can see here, it is appreciably bigger than the original. It's almost like a GE90 engine and a 737 fitting inside it. So we've got that. Comes with a big stirrer. Oh, nice big stirrer. Scoop. Is it a big scoop or is it the same size scoop? Let's see. Same scoop. And then now it's time for the AeroPress itself. Let's pull that out. Oh, it comes with a little bit of. Oh yeah, that's how they ship it. Okay, so they ship it like this, big AeroPress. You're gonna pull that apart and then turn it around. It's nice and tight. Okay. Some instructions. I don't know if we need these instructions. We're going to follow something else anyway. And then down in the bottom is our little carafe with a little bit of red, so they're packaged nicely. All right, so here's the carafe. This is really the whole thing. I think when it first started to come out, they did not have this packaged with it, and you bought this separately. So they package this now with the AeroPress XL, and they lowered the price. So that was like, oh, that's a really good deal. Let's do that. So let us get our stuff together. I'm going to put these boxes to the side. And now we've got our XL. We'll put this down. So what we're going to do is we're going to brew. It says it'll brew double batches. And so for the normal AeroPress, our recipe is 36 grams of finely ground coffee, 4 ounces of water. Then we stir for 45 seconds and then press. And then that gives us 12 ounces of total volume of coffee. So we're going to basically, so you should be able to do 2. I mean, you could probably do 2 in this and just add the water to ratio it out. But let's give it a try. Here is our AeroPress. And what we're going to do is we're going to use yesterday's coffee, the Sochipam from Ritual, since it's still sitting here. And we're just going to do that, and let us get to the brew part. All right, so here is our scale. Always struggling with the scale. Wow, so we would do normally 36. We're going to do 72 grams. That's a lot of coffee. All right, let's do it. We're going to do 2 batches. Now, I'm going to go pretty fine on, we want to go pretty fine, like finer than we would for pour over. So we're going to put this in there first. I'm just going to rinse this out just a little bit. All right, there we go. Now, I guess they did not include a funnel, right? So with the regular AeroPress, they'll include this funnel to help you, put the coffee in. But I guess with this one, you don't need it because it's so wide. So we're going to pour this in. I'm going to do 2 setups. Do another 36 grams. Come on, there we go. 36 grams, put that aside. I'm going to grind this up. Now, I could have ground it all, weighed and ground it one batch. It's just that the vessels don't hold 72 grams. Right, let's go back and pour these in. Now, for the more intrepid of you that may have been following the channel a little bit longer than others, you may be wondering, 36 grams to make 12-ounce coffees, there's something wrong with that ratio. And that's definitely true. There is a different ratio that we use at Spro for AeroPress. We want to get more body, more development, because we are using the AeroPress. So the AeroPress really works as a pressurized brewer. So what you're doing is that as you press down, you are giving a pressurized brew that forces the water through the coffee, much like espresso machines do. And that's why Alan Adler, when he first made this, he called it an espresso maker, because it's a pressurized brew. And technically, yeah, it's, if you want to consider any pressurized brewing system as kind of making espresso or fast coffee, then yeah, you can say that. Now, What we did is that we had our baristas back in several years ago. This is actually probably 2000 and 2009. We had our team and we sat down for several months and worked on brew recipes, trying different variations. Did we want to go vertical like the way they said originally? Or do we want to go inverted? Do we want to do all this stuff? And so we ended up with inverted 36 grams of coffee to make a 12-ounce cup, 4.5 ounces. Press it out and then into the vessel, and then you add the water to bring it to the full 12 ounces. Now, this is a vessel that does, I don't know how much this holds. Maybe we'll find out. Let's find out and see what they might have to say about the volume. Well, you know what? Let's just do this. What we're going to do is I'm just going to take the vessel, and we're just going to fill it with water, and it'll tell us our volume. All right, so there's about 500. So 500 milliliters, so half a liter, which is, half a liter is more or less, actually not even 20 ounces. So 16, we probably should have ratioed this out beforehand. Anyway, that's all right. What we'll do is we'll figure it out. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our hot water. We're going to add it to the AeroPress and then start our timer. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Can't you? Now we have to not go all the way because there's going to be some bloom, and this is my first time using it, and I don't know how long. Now we're stirring this for 45 seconds because this is, we just want to get as much agitation and exposure of the water to the coffee as we possibly can. And I'm going to add a little bit more to kind of top it off. Oh, I need to get this filters open. Filter basket. Now, the only time that I ever rinse filters is really here because I just want it to stick to the holder. All right, so that's good. Over 50 seconds. Put that on top. Now we're going to place the cap on top. Just because as we invert it, it's going to, whoa, I almost lost the top. Dangerous. Now we're going to push down. It's quite difficult to do this handheld and probably not so advised. I'm going to put it right here and press. We're going to press it all the way through till we start to hear a hiss. And that hiss is the water, the air that's kept here in the center escaping. I hear it now. Now this is true of both well, I'm guessing it's true of the XL, but certainly it's true in the smaller one. You want to angle it because as you can see, there's liquid falling. Okay, that's good. Put that down there. And now we have our elixir, which is a concentration of coffee that, let's see how it tastes. Whoa. Super concentrated. What we're going to do now is I'm actually going to put it in this mug. No. What I'll do is I'll use our glass. So about half of the volume. And then another half. And that should give us the proper brew strength that we're looking for. Pour that into our tasting glass. And there's our brew. And so let's compare the two. This is the concentration, of course. And then this is the dilution that should be at proper drinking strength. Interesting. So yesterday we brewed this same Sochipam in the porcelain V60. And it was nice. It was bright. But this one, it was bright. It was juicy. This particular brew has that brightness, has that juiciness, but it's not as alive. It feels more weighty, more. If the other one was lively and sprightly and alive, this one is, juicy but dead. It's just kind of like, ugh. Right? Does that make any sense? Like, it's just kind of weighting it down. If I was to choose between this coffee brewed in the two ways from yesterday, I think the yesterday's was more enjoyable, at least on my initial sips here. Now, is that truly a reflection on the XL? Right? Like, does that mean that the XL is a lesser brewer? I don't know. I mean, like, it theoretically it shouldn't be, but there's definitely a difference. And a lot of this is going to be impacted by the recipe, the actual recipe that you use with your AeroPress. I mean, this is just a first look. This is the first tasting, the first use of the AeroPress XL. I mean, it's cool. It's huge. I don't know honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Like, am I going to make AeroPresses for many people? Maybe. But if I honestly, like, I imagine that there's a lot of people that are AeroPress aficionados that have been telling AeroPress, hey man, make a bigger one, make a bigger one, make a bigger one. But I don't know. Do you really need a bigger one? Like, is this better than this? I'm not sure. Like, I'll have to use this a little bit more. But really, if I'm thinking about making, coffees for more people, like, I'm going to use something that's just bigger and maybe easier to work with. And I don't know why they went with 20 ounce. Maybe they should have gone with 40, or 16 ounce vessel. They should have gone with like a 32. Something that if you're going to have double the volume, it should be able to hold double. Like, I would like to brew. I would like to brew into this, and then adjust the dilution in this as well, so that I could serve out of it. But if I'm using double here to make 24 ounces of coffee, and I can only pour 16 ounces of coffee, I think they kind of missed the mark there. It's like, what were they trying to shoot for with that? I don't know. I mean, it's cool to have a vessel, but if it doesn't hold the capacity, I don't know. Anyway, let's look at the cleaning. So cleaning with the AeroPress is always very simple. All you have to do is take it down, take it apart, just switch it here. I will just take that, turn it. This you can rinse, put that in the rinser. And then you take this off. And then the nice thing about the AeroPress is that basically you just turn it over, and you got a little bit left here on the top. So we'll just take that and rinse it off. And you could leave it just like that, and that could be it. Like you probably want to, like me, I like to wipe everything off and make sure it's nice and clean. And then typically at Spro, we're here, we will run this through the wash after the day to make sure that everything's nice and clean and sanitary. But, for production environment, you could just leave it like this and then start again without too much muss and fuss. A little wipe up here. So any questions about the AeroPress, let me know. We've got the AeroPress XL. Nice, finally, after a month and a half or so of trying to get this, it has finally arrived. So that's a pleasing thing. Is it a tool that you need? I'd say the jury's still out on that one. I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical on that fact. Like it's cool, but where am I going to use it? How am I going to use this? That's what I wonder. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. Yeah, I thought I was going to be in New York City, but I think I'm not going to go. I was going to go to this trade show, this conference about called the Build Conference, but then honestly, to go to New York City is such a pain in the butt for me that I really try not to go. No, like I'm actually probably going to the National Association of Broadcasters show at the end of next month. So that's kind of what I'm kind of waiting for. I just don't feel like going. I just don't feel like making the effort to go right now. But so we will continue this week with more coffee. And yeah, so come tune in tomorrow. We'll be back again at 10 a.m., not 10 p.m., 10 a.m. tomorrow for the coffee Q&A. And then on the Ono Live channel tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Coffee and Cigars live stream that happens on the Ono Live channel. So if you need more coffee and more live streaming, keep it in mind. All right, until next time. Hope you have a good one. Here in Baltimore, it's 100 degrees. So if you're out here in Baltimore, somewhere on the East Coast where it's pretty hot, be sure to drink a lot of water, take it easy, and see you next time.